Andy, how are you doing?
Morning, Libby. Lovely to see you. I'm good, and I've got a
Good,
picture of the lovely Lake District behind me, so I'm a happy man.
beautiful. Well, we're here today, aren't we, to talk about the Inspirational Leader
We
event that
are.
we're putting together at the end of next March. So, Andy, I'll hand it over to you. What's it all about?
What's it all about, Alfie? Yeah, thanks, Libby. Well, I think the idea was born some time ago, and like most of my ideas, I then didn't do anything about it. But I got talking to Mr. Mark Tweedy, who then roped you in, and we got Mr. John Oxley in as well. Because I think from the sort of embryonic work that we've been doing in Geomactive with transformational leadership, with the likes of Future Fit, which was born out of the pandemic and the sort of realization that the whole systems approach and place-based work that I was listening to, particularly from Geo Moving, was a little bit sort of esoteric and wasn't quite applicable to us in a way that was obvious to me anyway. We sort of built on that, and then sort of realised that in Geomactive we're very fortunate because we have 12 leaders come together on a regular basis and have done for many years now, as most people probably know. And we even have regular slots where we spend a day together, a whole day, and we actually get into some of the details of some of the things that we want to talk about, which is everything from common issues and problems to what we're trying to achieve as a collective and stuff like that. So a combination of all those things, and really the lack of anything for existing CEOs or people sort of, the real senior leaders in our sector. There are some great opportunities to come together, UK Active, CR UK, things like that, SIMSPA, daily conferences. Well, quite often you sat listening to people talk at you and you do a little bit of networking and then you bugger off again and that's it. And it was like a case of all of that saying, look, isn't there a gap there and a need really for something that brings people, existing leaders together, and we can have a bit more time together to work like on the business as a collective, to learn from each other. So not a sit down, let's go through a sort of educational program. There's an element of that to what we're planning, isn't there, Libby? But I think there's as much about learning from each other in a fantastic place, Lakeside YMCA on the banks of Windermere, I just thought it was something that could be very useful and need, and fulfills a need at this time. And the great thing was that the team that I've already mentioned have come together, and we all sort of share that same vision. We've had a debate about expanding the program for aspirational leaders and people and that will probably happen next. But this is where we're really trying to, and from the initial results so far, there's a lot of interest from existing CEOs, MDs, regional directors, etc., to come along and actually spend that time together. So I hope people will do so, and I can guarantee them that it'll be nothing but good fun. It always is when we get a lot of us together in a room. We're particularly keeping it to no more than 16 people coming along. We've got some signed up, which we're not going to divulge today, but we've got some really good partners, which we've said a little bit about on LinkedIn and what have you. And we've got some other, some big guests coming, which we'll sort of tell everybody as we go over the next few weeks and months. So I'm really pleased so far with the planning of it. Thank you to you and to Mark and to John, who've done all the work basically. But the other thing I'd say as well is like having worked with both Mark and John as they've been delivering the performance blueprint in Mark's case and the transformational leaders with John a few times now for the pair of them. I just think they deserve and really need a wider audience, to be honest. And I think their adaptation of what they do for those programs for our senior leaders, I can't wait to be part of the audience who wants to and to learn from them, because they're two people in our sector that I would happily, even at my advanced age, happily work for, because I'd learn from them every time I spend time in their company. So I think to open that up for other people just seems the right thing to do at the right time.
Amazing. Well,
Yeah,
there's a few spoilers in there. We've got some more partnership announcements coming up in the future, haven't we? But we have
we
got
have.
two brilliant partners on board in Recreation Group and with Keep Me AI as well, which will feed into the kind of the innovation stuff because we're quite hoping to cover quite a lot in the program, aren't we?
We are, yeah, and you're right. I think there's, and again, what we've tried to do, well, what we have done with our partners is to invite them to take part in the day, very much so. And I was particularly keen personally on Ian Mullane from Keep Me, because again, we have to consider AI and how technology is already changing our world. And I just literally couldn't think of anybody better. So I went straight to Ian and asked him, and I'm delighted that he has come on. So, it won't be a case of Ian or any of the other partners selling what they do. It'll be them absolutely joining in the conversation. You know, I'm sure providing some really thought-provoking talks and input into the program, but just being there to be involved and actually, again, it's all adds to the learning that we'll all come away from. So yeah, I'm really pleased about that. And we know we've got a few more to come along as well. So it will be a fantastic time. And some other speakers, particularly on the Sunday, we'll have a big name on the Sunday after dinner for those people that can make the Sunday before we start on the Monday.
Yeah.
Hopefully everybody can do that, because I think that's one not to be missed as well. So it'll be a good social occasion, really good learning. As I say, again, it's a stunning place. If you've never been to Windermere, make this your, I know it's a long way from some people down south, but trust me, it's absolutely worth it. It would be stunning. It always is, up there, and we're going to make the most of that environment, Libby, aren't we?
Yeah, I loved it when I went to visit. Well, I love Windermere. That picture in your background, I took that a number of years ago, the other end of Lake Windermere. But yeah, that's that photo. And
Yeah.
when I visited, I just thought, because I spend a lot of time, I've switched out of operations and now I coach with teams and individuals, and I spend a lot of time studying the world of work. And the biggest thing that I encounter is that ability to step away
Mm.
and step up and have a balcony view of what's going on, because we're in the VUCA world of work now. Work's changed, which demands different leadership. And I think the setting that we've got will enable people to kind of step away from the stresses of the everyday and really spend some time. Like you
Yeah.
say, we're all going to learn from each other, aren't we? Which is really, really exciting.
Yeah, and I think that's important. So that's sort of the format of the day is not going into too much detail, but you're leading the third day, aren't you? So bringing it all together, so there's some sort of tangible takeaways. And I think the other thing to say that always happens, and we'll design it so this happens, is that people will understand themselves more, because we're using the Gallup Strengths tool. It's not going to dominate everything, but we really want people to understand themselves a little bit better through things like the Gallup program, but also some of the activities. And again, we want to be able to put people into positions and enjoy the environment, and almost challenge themselves in that respect as well. So, and then bringing it all back together on that third day, which you're leading, Libby, aren't you? I
Yeah.
think will be fantastic, and everybody will leave, I'm sure, with better connections. They'll understand themselves, but have made some new friends, some new colleagues, and this is the way these things tend to work. You've got a network then that have either been people that you've known previously, but never really got to know them. You will get to know them, and then brand new people, and that'll be a tight knit community, I think, going into the future, don't you?
Yeah, I do, definitely. I'm really, really excited about I'm really excited about the whole event and what I think we can create, and particularly excited about that third day when it will be using action learning and experiential learning for people to really explore what they have learned about themselves over the previous days. So yeah, I'm not going to reveal more at the moment. We'll keep that as another spoiler,
No,
shall we?
no, I hope that doesn't put some people off. Oh God, we're not going to be building rafts, are we? Well, you might be, but trust me, it's been, we've got some really good expertise from the venue itself, from a person who's been doing leadership for decades, to be honest, up in the lakes at a different venue. And it will be challenging, but it won't be naff. Let's be honest, it won't be a naff, a little bit of team building with ropes or something. It will be good. It's a fantastic purpose-built centre actually nowadays. I went up there many years ago when it was shacks. Basically, it's no longer shacks. It's a very, very nice purpose-built venue for leadership development. Yes, albeit quite often with children, but they do this leadership development, and say their particular person leading at Godfrey is very, very experienced in this type of thing. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, and yeah, hopefully people who are interested, if they want to give us a shout, we can have a chat about it a little bit more in a bit more detail. As I say, we are holding out, keeping the spaces for CEOs and that real senior people as much as possible, aren't we? But if people are interested who aren't thinking, oh, maybe it's not for me, then let us know, because if there's the demand, we'll put something on for everybody that wants to attend. Maybe not this one, but one similar a bit later on in the year or something like that. So if it sounds interesting to you, just get in touch with us and we'll have a conversation. Nobody will be turned away. It just might be deferred to a later course that's more appropriate for them.
Yeah, brilliant. We're planning, aren't we? So I suppose that's the wrap up, and we'll drop the links to, there's an inquiry form, isn't there? I'll drop the link to the inquiry form onto the post. And yeah, we want to hear from people, don't we?
We do indeed. Yeah. Don't be having FOMO, as they say. Get yourself there, and I know how difficult it is for people to take time out of the business, but sometimes and I know you have to be very conscientious of that, people, and even the cost I know is sometimes difficult. We've tried to keep the cost as low as we possibly can to make it tangible. Nobody's getting rich out of this. This is something that we all feel strongly that the sector needs, to be honest with you. We may be wrong, but not by the initial reaction is so positive. So I think we're good on that. So yeah, hopefully people will see that's taking some time out to work on the business, on themselves as well. It will benefit your business. There's no two ways about it. So sometimes to take some time out and actually work on the business, on yourself, will pay absolute dividends, rather than just keep slogging away at the coalface. Give yourself a break, give yourself some headspace, and come and meet some like-minded colleagues, and guarantee it'll be worthwhile.
Definitely. Thanks so much, Andy. It's been great.
Thanks,
catching
Libby.
up.